Welcome, everyone. Do not adjust your screen.
Ooh.
Yes, it's Drink While You Think. We are back. I am Kenji,
Matthew.
and there is no need to even, introduce this guy. Who is it? It's Will Lopez, everybody.
Hey, this is amazing. When was the last time I did a Drink While You Think episode? It's been a while.
It's got to be about a year. It's got to be about a year. I mean, I don't know if it's since you've been to Gusto. Is it pre-Gusto? Post?
I think it was pre-Gusto.
I think it was pre-Gusto.
Oh, it was pre-Gusto, but we may have known about that.
That's right. You did know at the time
That's
too.
our mouth shut. We didn't like leak anything.
This was when you came down to visit, Kenji, right? We went to that beer.
Oh yeah.
To that bar, and then we did like the little side by side on your phone. Yeah,
we did.
That was it.
Totally did it in a brewery. Yeah, Will and
brewery,
I.
that's what it was.
Great brewery, and we hung out and did it right there. That was awesome.
Yeah, I think the Gusto was under embargo at that time, so I think that.
Without further ado, we'll do some introductions here in a second. What's everybody drinking today, Will? I mean, it's a little early out in Colorado, but what you got there, bro?
Well, I scrambled at the last minute. I whipped out some tequila, and I have a little tequila in the metal cup.
So, what kind of tequila? It's all good.
Hold on. just your regular Tito's. So
that's great.
Okay. Keep it easy. I think both of you know that I'm a fan of tequila, even though sometimes it goes sideways.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been part of anything like that, so I don't want. Yes, Matthew, what do you got there? I can tell Matthew's looking.
I know. I was like, I'm trying a new one today, and I'm mourning the loss of our Cinco de Mayo party. So, I've got a Lechuza, which is hecho in Georgia.
So, in Georgia. So Lechuza. Wow. Who's the? Okay, I like it.
It's made in Kennesaw.
So Mexican lager. Nice.
A Mexican style lager. So in honor of this, will drop kind of somewhere around Cinco de Mayo. So I figured that was appropriate. So.
Nice.
Okay. I'm going with one kind of a cool. Look at this, got a cool little thing here. It's the Voodoo Ranger Experimental IPA. Look at that cool dude on there.
Oh,
it is in New Belgium.
Experimental.
It is in New Belgium, which is based out of Fort Collins, Colorado, not too far from Will Lopez out in Denver. Had this one before. It's always pretty tasty, good little IPA.
Yeah, loving it.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Cheers
Salud.
to you. Salud. Boom. All right, Will. For those, for some weird reason, who may not know who you are.
Right.
Who the heck are you, dude? What are you doing?
Well, if you don't know who I am, I'm kind of glad because I'm really no one special. Nothing great with me, seriously. I currently work at Gusto. I oversee Gusto's accounting partner program through Partner Community. Been in public accounting all my life. I love accounting, and so that's where I met these two fine fellas.
You love accounting?
I love accounting, dude. Love it. Like this is my trade. This is going to be with me forever. In fact, I was just telling somebody earlier that I am going to go for my doctorate in accounting. So it will happen.
Are you kidding? Really?
No. Oh yeah. So I got a master's in accounting. I'm going to go for my doctorate in accounting, and eventually I'm going to teach accounting. I think is my MO. So I figure 30s and 40s I'll finish off my doctorate. I haven't actually even started it, so it's going to look like 40s. I'm going to finish my doctorate in my 40s and probably start teaching in my 50s, and just go teach at a university. Take some of that grassroots, learnings. Right, take the stripes from the industry and go teach those chitlins out there.
There you go.
What's up?
I think that's what we need too. Someone who actually is not teaching them on the old green bar ledger. Are you going to teach T accounts? Are you going to show them how to do T accounts, things like that? Are you going to say,
I'm going to whip out the abacus. It's going to be my paddle, actually. It's going to be a massive abacus.
You've got total new school technology. Now you're going to get to school and go backwards like grassroots.
That's right. It's actually going to be an abacus app on my iPhone. So it's a little bit of the old school with the new school coming together. But yeah, I oversee Augusto's partner channel, which is fun. Own an accounting firm prior to Gusto called Advisorify, and just loving what I'm doing.
So we've been talking about how it's been a crazy, obviously for everybody, crazy number of weeks, months, whatever, since all this fun COVID stuff. And Matthew and I think everyone else we've talked to on here have been kind of other firm owners. So like you've been in the past, and we've been saying about how suddenly us accountants are so popular. Everybody wants to talk to us. Like our work is important. Like it's really weird. Like we're so popular.
Well, because you guys have a YouTube channel. That's why you're so popular.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And you're drinking while you're thinking.
Amongst all the 8 people.
Doing the shimmy.
But in thinking about that, right, the popularity, I think it pales in comparison to the popularity, not just because you're a fun guy, Will, but like,
okay, like a mushroom, like a fun guy.
Yeah, fun guy, like a true fun guy. But like, okay, apparently there's this, I think this PPP thing I feel like I've heard about. And I think that it's one of those P's is like a payroll, type, or paycheck type thing. I think you guys actually, as a payroll company, have got to be the most popular people in the world right now because you're like at the heart of everything going on. And I mean, is that right? I mean,
yeah, why not? I'll take the credit there. I mean, Gusto. So in all seriousness, Gusto's killed it. I mean, yeah. I'm proud to say that I've lost a lot of sleep and it's actually produced good results.
I totally agree. And I was thinking through this. I had to kind of jot this down, Will, but I was like, okay, I'm trying to think of in this time, of COVID, all the different things that you guys have probably had to change or changing on your payroll platform, right? So you guys had to get very, very involved with the whole PPP calculation just for the application process, right? So that was very involved.
There were only like 17 iterations of that report. I mean,
right? Yeah, and like no time to do it.
No good deed goes unpunished with early product development.
17 sprints in 4 days. I don't know how you guys did that.
There's that. There's the, so there's the whole deferment of payroll taxes under the CARE Act, right? So that's that didn't exist before all this. You guys had to deal with. There's the payroll tax credit issue coming out of like the FMLA. So, right. Mm-hmm. So people have that. That's going to impact you guys. Employee retention tax credit.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody's even talking about that yet.
That one. And then coming at some point, and you guys may already have this, or there's going to be like the whole forgiveness calculation for the payroll for PPP. So like those are like just a few things, but like none of those things existed. And now everybody in the world's like relying on you guys to do that. I mean, how insane has that been? Like trying to stand up all these different, iterations of the product.
Well, you know what's kind of funny? Well, first and foremost, and I told you this, Kenji and Matt, when I was interviewing with Gusto, one of the big things for me, like really moving over to Gusto was from the outside looking in, you look at all these cool fintech companies and all these accounting tech companies and you think, wow, it'd be really cool to like work with them. Right. And, but could it be a rotten apple on the inside? Right. And so like what that basically meant was, maybe Gusto looked really cool from the outside, but maybe on the inside, it's not so cool. Like a lot of companies can be, right? They're kind of shiny on the outside, rotten on the inside. And that wasn't the case when I was interviewing and Kenji, and Matthew, because we were doing, co-marketing work or marketing work with Gusto prior to even me coming over to Gusto. So we had an experience that like on the inside, it's a pretty amazing company, very thoughtful about accountants, extremely thoughtful about SMBs. And so what's amazing was the moment crap hit the fans, how quickly everybody just dropped everything with SMBs and accountants totally in mind. And we were just grinding away, trying to just be who we thought like we should be, which is a really trusted partner to help, SMBs and accountants guide them through this whole thing. That before we even knew it, we looked up and we were like, oh crap, everybody's like applauding us. This is really amazing. And, not to liken this at all to like the 9/11, but it was kind of like, boom, crap hits the fan. People were just dove in, right? And so that's exactly what we did at Gusto was crap hit the fan for accountants, crap hit the fan for SMBs. And it was moving so fast that we just literally shoved all the work off the table and like deprioritized almost everything and just just hit it hard. Yeah. There was no doubt that we were literally working day, night, and weekends. There was almost a nighttime shift at Gusto. And I was a part of that, like working every single 7 days a week, definitely. And on the weekends, especially in the front end of like the legislation, trying to get solutions and tools and knowledge and learnings and figuring out what we could do for accountants versus SMBs and saying, okay, we built this cool PPP report for SMBs. Can we create the same thing where like the accountant can in one click download all the PPP reports for their clients, right? And so we were trying to like work really closely as a team that before we knew it, 18 is actually the number. We had built 18 new product and compliance features around COVID-19.
18?
And so 18 plus.
Well,
and we're building more and more and more.
The best thing that you guys did, in my opinion, and please take this as a compliment, was you were willing to put out imperfect information because there was no, with the understanding is that there was no correct answer.
Correct.
Like the way the law was written, you guys said, and we made this decision too, we were going to put information out that was going to be wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
With the knowledge that there was, that was better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And I did not see a lot of big companies doing that. Like all the people like us were the ones doing that, not the big companies. And to see Gusto do it just meant that we had the right partner. Like that we've been betting on the right people the whole time. And we were just really appreciative that you guys, I joke, there were 7, like, I felt like there was iterations and we would get a report and our team would all send you guys feedback and you guys had to be getting feedback from all over the country because you have just more partners than us. But I was so proud that you guys put out a report.
Yeah.
And
it just went with quick.
Right.
Just use speed to get it out there. And
and
I guess I was, to Matthew's point, right? I'm almost curious if you got any examples. I mean, I know this is working on the clock, but I'm trying to almost imagine like examples of how it's working, right? I can see like, okay, Will's putting some examples out for certain, hey, firms, give me feedback, right? And then he's going back and like talking to guys back who are coding and doing, I mean, is that kind of how it was working? Was it like?
So I'll tell you exactly how it worked. And I appreciate that validation, Matthew, because that's really good to hear. I mean, obviously because our profession is so opinionated, no good deed at Gusto went unpunished publicly. So, accountants had their perspectives on the legislation and we would roll things out. Like you said, we were doing what we thought was right. So, what's the great quote that I stumbled upon? It was like, management is doing things right and leadership is doing the right things. And so we were doing things right, what we felt was right, what we felt was empowerment at the moment, given the current state of affairs and given the current guidance. And we were getting whiplashed by the federal government and legislation providing the guidance to the act, or the guidance to the guidance to the act, or the Q&A to the guidance to the guidance to the act, and we were iterating and reiterating the reports that we were doing in order to say, look, time is of the essence, speed is key, right? And we were hoping that just guidance would come out. So here's what would happen. We would build that PPP report, and the moment, which was like on Monday nights, literally is when it would happen. On Monday nights, the SBA would roll out the first set of guidance. I kid you not, I would Slack through the accounting salon, some people, some partners, to say, hey, it's 10:30 at night. Anybody willing to jump on a Slack channel between me, 2 legal attorneys here at Gusto, someone from product at Gusto, to hash out the guidance. And so, because tomorrow morning, we want to make the iterations on the PPP report. That's literally what went down. So and I'm like, and kudos to everybody who was on that Slack channel: Stephanie Holt, Marcus Meyer, Zachary Call, like all these partners literally jumped on a Slack meeting, and I could share an image of us literally at like 11 o'clock at night. It was literally accountants, like me, attorneys from Gusto, and the product engineers who are leading the development of the reports. 11 o'clock at night. And then what would happen is we would literally go by question by question by question and say, does this affect product? Does this affect Gusto? No. Yes, no. Yes, it does. What changed? Oh, we need to change this in the report. What should the language be? What should be the column headers of the report? And dude, like that was our experience early on. And I still owe a debt of gratitude and like some care packages to the partners that I literally, unfortunately, just drug through the mud at Gusto, like the craziness that happened in order to reiterate and iterate. And then the very next day, by 12 o'clock the next day, we would have an iteration. And so then once we did that debrief, the team on my side would serve up a document with learnings to the engineers to saying, here's what needs to change. Here's the formulas that need to change. And here are the new column headers according to the industry of like the partners that we rolled in. They would work overnight and then release 12 a.m. And then even when we released, on social and stuff like that, we would just get slapped. And so, like, you know, like I said, no good deed unpunished. But
this is broken. This doesn't work. This is
right. Disagree with this.
This is wrong with this one edge case. Yeah.
Right. And then obviously competitors of ours would like whiplash us too, and like, hey, your report sucks. But yet we felt like we were doing the right thing. Yeah. So like we knew we were doing the right thing. We were doing the right thing, and we weren't waiting to the last minute like some of our competitors to actually throw in a towel or actually throw in their hat.
Yeah.
Throw in a report or throw out a blog. So by the time we had created 15 plus experiences inside the product, 40 plus blogs breaking everything down, people probably just got a webinar out as far as our competitors are concerned, right? So like we were just moving so fast, and we were trying to collapse the feedback using our amazing accountants. But unfortunately that would go into like late night sessions until like midnight with them. But they were so all about it. And it was like really, like the feedback was really wild ride at Gusto, really crazy what it takes to actually bring this stuff to life. Really appreciate you guys. So that was like a day in the life of Gusto, and it would be cool to get somebody from that was in those meetings. To get
somebody, Stephanie or Zach or we kind of had a bit of a mantra that we were using for us at Acuity and for kind of advising our clients too. And that was, we're like, hey, this is not the right time now to sit and wait, right? This is not like, you know, I think that's what a lot of people were doing. Like, oh, things are changing and there's so much fear. Like we got to wait and see how it shakes out. We're like, no. It is not the time to wait. It's time to act. And so it was cool for us to see a partner who's doing the same thing. Like, let's go and act. We're going to make some judgment errors occasionally, but we're not going to sit here and be passive about it. So it was a cool process. And we were kind of feeding information back to our team. Like, hey, the Gusto report just changed again. Take a look at it.
I know.
And we've heard such great feedback from so many of our clients and so many of our accountants about what you guys have been doing. So,
but we saw every version of your report funded.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, the numbers changed slightly, but materially for the impact of the business, none of them, like the one, they got it, right?
Yeah.
They didn't screw around. They didn't try to add 100 things. They took the number times 2.5 and went, you know, and those people that did that got funded. It was a big difference, especially one. So
let me share my screen. This was an image taken at 10:20 p.m. on April 6th. So this is 10:20 p.m. and we have Stephanie Holt on our side, Zachary Call. We had, Scott Scarano, Michael Lee. Yeah. We had Topher on our side. We had Chelsea Turner, who's an attorney on our side. And we were literally going through the SBA guidance questions one by one by one. Awesome. And if you go back, April 7th at noon, we released the new report. And so that's what was happening was we were just like, we were getting hit in that direction, and we would just loop in people who really cared about making sure that, you know, the profession had what they needed and the SMBs had what they needed. And these were just like late night bench sessions that were happening in real time.
That's crazy.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we were trying to figure out, you know, the first round of people got their money, and we were having the same problem with forgiveness. Mm-hmm. I calling the banks, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to give guidance. They literally, people at the banks on the DL would tell us, we're not going to give guidance.
Yeah.
So we had to build the freaking forgiveness calculator ourselves, just get something imperfect out there. And we tweak it all the time.
We keep telling people like, hey, listen,
ask your bank.
Ultimately, you need to get something from the bank on what they're going to want. But in the meantime, we're going to give you something to keep updating it. I don't know if Matthew, the other day I was on looking at our calc, which is a Google sheet, right? Reminds me a little bit of what you guys did with all the different funding sources for COVID, I think, which was a great resource, Will. The Gusto was fantastic. We've been pushing that out to everybody. So we kind of took the same approach of like, hey, let's just build our calculator using, you know, a Google sheet. And the other day I was on there and there were like 80 people on the Google Doc. I mean, I was like, holy cow, there's a lot of, you know, I think people are appreciative of like, hey, you're taking a shot at it and just kind of putting some things out there. So anyway, wild times.
You should tell Will, whoever built the alternative funding sources sheet or whoever's maintaining that, like that made the main nav on our website now. Like you pick COVID-19 and you click alternative sources, it goes straight to your document.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, tell whoever's doing that, that's just hugely impactful to people, what they're doing. You know? Yeah,
I mean, it was what was happening so much too internally, which is why a lot of that went up to the outside through a lot of guidance from my side to say, we need to make this stuff public. Was because we ourselves were trying to understand what was happening, right? So internally, we were accumulating resources and knowledge and learnings into central locations. And then we would say, you know what, let's make this live to the public and let's create a blog on it. Let's keep this
Yeah.
Alternative banking. And we actually, I think that's the same spreadsheet that says who's accepting applications and who's not.
Yeah.
Right. And so like we ourselves were trying to navigate that, because on the inside, we have 100,000 small business owners calling in saying, where do we go? What do we do? Like, what are these funding sources? And so we were trying to like collapse learning curves, which is what everybody else was doing, right? Like we were trying to create like a source to like pull from, because everything was just happening hour by hour. It was crazy.
Dude, it's crazy.
Out of control.
So I'm going to shift gears, if you guys don't mind, for a little bit here.
I need a little sip, by the way.
Need a little sip. Take a little sip. You're going to need a sip for this.
Yeah, you got to breathe, dude.
Yeah, you're going to need more than a sip for this, Will, because I'm shifting gears entirely.
Okay.
And you know that we dug in here, good information on PPP and other things, but that's just not exactly how we entirely do it on, Drink While You Think or Hang with Will Lopez. We got to have a little bit of fun. So I've been getting a lot of interesting comments about my really bad facial hair and things like this. And I've been mad at Matthew.
The stash?
Yeah, we were growing it. He was doing it as well too. Some other folks were. Matthew shaved his this week because he had a webinar to do. I had to do a Gusto one. I didn't shave it at all. I'm like, I'm going to rock it out. I guess my question for you is, have you ever had like crazy facial hair or mustache?
Yeah. So funny enough, I've always had a goatee my entire life until about 9 years ago. And I ended up shaving my goatee, and I always had long sideburns, by the way. I should find an old school picture. Let's see if I could find an old school picture of what I looked like for a long time. And while you're
looking for one, Will, I've got one that I'd like you to explain to me a little bit.
Oh dear.
So
what happened? What'd you find on me?
I don't know. Take a look.
Nice.
I didn't realize.
Oh my gosh! Look at this.
Look at this stash.
Look at this, dude. This is old school, Will.
It's only got the sides and you shaved in the middle. I didn't know you were a Corn fan.
Listen. If I said a lot of the history of like just my background, a lot of you guys would be shocked. But yeah, I mean, I was big into heavy metal back then. I actually played in a band.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that right? Oh, you did. So look at that guitar, and tell me what's going on with those pants.
What's going on with those pants,
dude? Who is it? ANKO or ANCO, or is it?
Now, if I'm remembering correctly, was this a picture?
Skeletons are coming out on this show.
Was this a picture from Wee Wee Fest?
No, that was not. That was not. But that was a thing. That was a thing way back when.
Heard about Wee Wee Fest, and again,
my sister working for you guys is not doing any justice here. She's gonna get it. She's gonna.
Look there. Look at that. Look at that. Look who's responsible for all of this, right? Look who did all this.
Maria.
Look at that, and look how innocent.
I need another shot.
And guess what? Also,
she's on.
Look who's here. Who's jumping on. She's gonna take a second to connect, but yes. All of these pictures are courtesy of your sweet sister.
My lovely sister who now works for Acuity.
Yeah, she's saying it's connecting right now.
I retract my recommendation. Even though I know she already has a job, so I'm sure it's not going to count.
Yeah.
Is she calling in from the hospital even? Like that is awesome.
And she'll tell us about it. But yeah, she's got one of her kiddos who's got an appendix issue, and she's like
my nephew.
She's been planning on this all week to jump on. Oh, okay. I think she's trying. Oh, there she
is.
There she is. Look at her.
You're on mute.
What's up?
Can you hear us, Maria?
She's on mute. You got to unmute her.
I'll try to unmute her. She's unmuted now. Now you're here. But she's calling in her youngest, not youngest, middle.
Middle.
RJ, who had his appendix out. So she's trying to connect and talk to us. But anyway.
Yeah, so.
This is what we get for trying to do stuff live. Oh, there's the audio. It's going.
Is she going now?
It might. I see the little thing. It's teasing us. So.
I know, but there she is.
Hey.
Will, okay, so Will, tell us, like, how long ago was that? Was this picture of you guys?
It's a long time ago.
I mean, if you had to guess, what do you guys like? Is that 2-3 years ago, or?
So a little background. Maria and I we grew up in a very humble family. And by humble family, I mean we were poor. And, in some of our background, my dad was very entrepreneurial. Our parents were very entrepreneurial. And so my dad has always owned businesses, but he didn't graduate past what was it, Maria, 3rd or 4th grade?
She can't hear you, dude.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Matthew. We're good.
3rd or 4th grade. And, and so growing up, I think Maria can attest that all the way, I think up to maybe my age 6 or 7, we lived in the back of one of my dad's stores. And I remember taking a shower using a 5-gallon bucket of water that my mom had heated water on a stove.
No
so
way.
we had like a little shower over a drain in the back of the store where my mom would heat up water on the stove, and we would use this 5-gallon bucket of water to take a bath. So this home was the very first home that we got, probably 8, maybe I was 8 or 9. So Maria was probably like 4 or 5, maybe 6, that we stayed in till I think I got into freshman of high school. So I would say this is middle school years, probably 9th grade or something like that. But yeah, so this was us in the first trailer that we moved into, which was really awesome.
That's awesome. She's been on there. Okay. Are you with us, Maria? Still we can't get her audio. She's there. Oh,
you can hear me.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, we got it.
Yes. I had to dial in for my phone. It's so weird.
Well, made it work. Thank you very much for providing those amazing pictures.
Here, I'll share one on my side. This is in college years, but there's the super long sideburns with the goatee on my side.
The community organizer will.
Yeah, so very political. A lot of people don't know that. Love politics. But this was back, during I think Obama's first term, doing some campaigning on the streets. With the super long sideburns.
Will's a really good protester back in his day. He loved to get people riled up for nothing.
Oh yeah, that was me.
For nothing.
No, all for something.
Did he get you riled up, Maria? I mean, what did he do to you? I mean,
He did. As much as he always wants to deny a lot of it, he used to bully me. Like, he used to hang dolls from my door, and I would walk into my door, and they would hang from a noose and fall in front of me. He would literally.
I was a disturbed child.
He was a very disturbed child. Like, it did not.
I don't know how our parents did it.
We lived in one of our homes. There was a canal right in front of it, and Will used to love going in there and pulling out these dirt rocks, right? And so basically, like, once they would throw them at you, it would just kind of just fall or whatever. But he used to find the ones that were not really dirt rocks. They were actual rocks, and he would throw them at me all the time. It's so bad.
Listen. It was either my disturbedness growing up or Maria's escaping out the windows, during late night sessions. We were both really bad kids.
Yeah.
And we both would lie through our teeth day in, day out.
It's kind of called being teenagers, right? I mean, some of us have them. So
So Will and I both have a story, right? So Will and I both did something so crazy to our mother, and we let her know shortly before she passed away because it was something we had to get off our chest, right? So we were always terrified to tell our parents the truth about what we actually really did, and so I will start my story, and I'll let Will tell his.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to take a sip.
So my father, a friend of mine had a 3-wheeler, and I used to say, hey, let me go ride that 3-wheeler across the street. My dad says, you go ride that 3-wheeler, you're going to break your arm. I was like, okay, fine. I'll go and just hang out, but I will not ride the 3-wheeler. So I go across the street. I ride the 3-wheeler. She's riding it backwards. She turns the steering wheel, and we go flying. And as I'm flying in the air, I land on my arm, and I break my arm. No joke. I'm terrified, completely terrified. That I grab my arm and I pop it back into a place like this. And I go back to my friend's house trying to figure out a way for them not to know that I broke my arm on a 3-wheeler. So I come up, I go to the house, I have my arms crossed, I sit on my couch, and then I come up with this crazy plan that I fall out of a tub. And so I break my arm falling out of a tub. That is how I broke my arm to my parents.
At our home. It was like Maria went to go take a shower out of the tub and broke her arm.
Yes. So not only did I break my arm, I popped it back into place, and then I popped it back out of place just to show my parents I did not break it on a three-wheeler. So we had an aunt who was older with Alzheimer's that was about to move in. My parents were like, we cannot have a tub if she's coming in. We have to get a walk-in shower. So my parents spent thousands of dollars creating a walk-in shower because I broke my arm.
I didn't want to tell them. Oh my gosh.
We're terrible. We were terrible.
Let Willie tell his.
Which one are you thinking?
I'm thinking of the one where mom was going to sue the school because.
Oh, yeah. So that's right. So I have a scar right here for anybody who could see. I have a scar right here because at high school, what happened was I left class, went to, I forgot what it was, counselor's office. I got myself in trouble, something like that. And on the way out of the counselor's office, I was paying attention to something. I don't even remember. And we have these awnings that, went from building to building that had these, big metal pillars that will hold up these awnings. And I ended up hitting one of the awnings by accident, just like I was looking somewhere else. And before I knew it, boom, I hit this awning like an idiot. And so I'm like, oh, and then so I touched and I didn't see anything. And then I touched again and I was just gushing out blood from my head. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? And so I went to the bathroom and like was rinsing this out. And then I ended up going to the doctor's office at the high school. And I said that there was one of the landscaping people. There was a landscaping person out there, and that he had sucked up a rock inside his lawnmower and it hit me in the head. And so that was the story I took back to my parents. And my parents were livid. They were like, we're going to sue the school. And that's the story I told, like, to the counselor's office, to the school, to my parents. I'm like, the dude in the lawnmower hit me with a rock. And, like, I did not tell them the truth at all. And, like, my parents were just off the rocker. We were terrible kids. I don't know if people should be watching this Drink While You Think.
This sounds, I mean, all I know is we've got a new favorite segment on Drink While You Think. That's bring
personal confections.
Yeah, bring your sibling on and talk about your terrible high school moments.
I will say this is what probably gave Maria and I just the super scrappiness of just being so good at business, because A, we had a very entrepreneurial family, and B, we were super creative. So it played out in our favor.
You guys are awesome.
It's even funnier though, like when I want to say it was probably about a year before my mom passed. We were sitting in my living room and I was pregnant with my daughter, my first child. And somehow the conversation came up of the things that we have done in the past. And Will was the one that was like, well, Maria did not really fall out of the tub. And I was like, oh, no, you did not.
We just started unleashing our did you know? Like, wait a minute, did you know that Maria did this? Maria's like, well, did you know that Will did that? And I'm like, no. Look, let me tell you what she did over here. And like, it was like we were 10 again.
Fantastic.
My mom was so mad. She's so mad.
Well, this is what you got to do. This is the kind of entertainment we need to bring to the accounting community right here.
Let me tell you.
I can't wait till I have Matthew's two younger brothers join, or we can have I don't want mine to join because
these accountants right here are not fuddy-duddies. So
no, they are not.
Another funny thing Will used to do, and I'm going to throw this out here. Will did have a really sick head back in the day. So my father had a boat, right? And so it had like the little porthole in the top and the front of the boat.
He's like, what did I do?
Yeah. So he had BB guns, right? And he loved to sit there at night inside the boat with the cover on. My dad didn't know we were in there. And me, being the dummy I am, following my brother because I want to be just like him, we're sitting in the boat and he pops open the porthole and he's sitting there with his BB gun. And as cars were driving by, he would go, boop, and he would shoot a car with it. I was like, what are you doing?
We can go on all day.
Exactly.
I know we don't have all day, but we
don't have all day. See, that's the danger of bringing a sibling on here. But we'll say this. I mean, we'll just remember, there's these two amazing cloud accountants came from these two. Look at these two sweet, innocent kids. I mean, and
right here.
And again, this is the one I just love.
I got that the makings of a Kinji stash.
The best thing about this one, it's torn for where he didn't want the girl.
The girl, I know, there's clearly the girl cut out.
You know what's funny? I don't remember tearing that.
I did.
You see, look at this.
See,
What am I going to do with this?
Look at
With
that.
this?
I had to tear it because I can't remember the reasoning why. We used it for something and we couldn't do it, because you were with Hannah. So,
well, we're gonna this could go on forever.
I'm so in trouble.
This could go on forever. This is how we end up ending our show. Now, only Matthew and I can really participate. I think I saw Maria drinking Pepsi. Unfortunately, we use an Untapped app that we like. Matthew and I like rating
this is
our
awesome.
beers. We can't do tequila on there, but Matthew, yours is the
Lechuza.
I don't know. How do you spell it? Lechuza? Oh, that,
Is that Lachuza Lager?
With a Z.
this one?
No, the next one.
This
The
one?
last one right there.
I think.
Does it look like the can?
Looks like that. Yep, that's it.
That's it?
that's it.
All right, what you giving it?
3.5 that one.
3.5?
Yeah.
Okay, and I've got the Voodoo Ranger. Okay, I'm gonna go 3.75. I can find it. Oh, there it is, Voodoo Ranger.
Make sure you do the right one because that's the Voodoo Ranger Extreme one.
Oh, jeez. Experimental.
Experimental.
Too much typing. I should have had it keyed up. We're just
There
gonna go with this one. We're gonna go with this one.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
Isn't it the second one? No, that's the Imperial Stout. But it's got to be the IPA.
Okay, this one. I'm gonna go 3.75. Pretty good. Not knock your socks off. The cool, super cool, like crazy. Almost looks like he's kind of this rebel into experimental music. He
Love
might
it.
wear big pants like Will Lopez, but
Oh my gosh.
it's better than I thought.
Could have a red guitar.
So
I got a killer red guitar. Good, Will. We love you, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for all you're doing at Gusto. Maria, thank you for the amazing stories. I mean,
You're welcome.
and we hope your son feels better.
hope he's doing better. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I think he's.
Hey, I just want to say quickly, I think what you guys are doing with Drink While You Think is so awesome. Keep it up. I think it's so good. And I truth be told, I've been watching every one of them. So it's good way to just decompress in the new normal is to watch a Drink While You Think and maybe drink while you're drinking while you're thinking. And all that.
Yeah,
Join
you
us.
should definitely drink while you watch.
Drink along with us.
You drink along with you. That's a requirement of the show, by the way, everybody. If you're not drinking while you're watching Drink While You Think, then
You're doing
Yeah.
it wrong.
Doing it wrong.
Not doing it.
Doing it wrong.
Join us next time, next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button somewhere in these corners. Will was really good at this. I'm not. We'll figure it out there later. Cheers and thanks, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.